Sometimes you just gotta disappear. Sometimes you gotta go ghost. Sometimes you gotta be on ghost mode. You gotta be on D&D. Sometimes you gotta be on monk mode. Disappear. Look that man in the mirror and go to war with yourself. Do whatever is necessary and don't come back until you win. Let me repeat that again. Sometimes you gotta disappear, bro. Take breaks from people. Take breaks from your routine even. Sometimes your daily routine. Because sometimes in that routine, you may get lost in the fold, especially if it includes people being around you. You know, at work, at home, whatever, bro. If you find yourself disrupted, your spirit disrupted, you know, if things are going on in your life in ways to where you just find yourself unbalanced, if things are going on in your life where you just find yourself just out of whack, almost like that vehicle that just keeps having issue after issue after issue, no matter what, sometimes you just gotta stop, bro. Put it in the shop and really, really, really let the technician work. And in this case, we're talking about God. In this case, we're talking about sitting yourself down and doing the internal work. Because a lot of the times, sure, things could be happening to us from the external. Of course, sure, you know, you might go to work and not be treated right, treated fair. Sure, certain things could, you know, not necessarily be working in your favor when it comes to certain relationships or whatever the case may be. I'm just using any type of example, whatever it is that you may be going through or you can relate with. I'm just saying, not everything that is happening in your life is your fault to a degree. Let me explain. So let's just say you go to work or whatever the case may be and you're not being treated fair, treated equal or whatever the case may be. That's something that you can't control. But what you can't control is your reaction to it. What you can't control is how you go about it. What you can't control is the way that you process it, the way that you dissect everything, but most importantly, the way that you handle the situation. Most importantly, the way that you handle yourself. Most importantly, making sure that your character is not compromised, making sure that your faith is not compromised, making sure that none of the way that you handle it represents something that isn't really what you want to foresee when it comes to the decisions in your life. You want to make sure that nothing takes you out of character. You want to keep your character intact. You want to keep your character intact at all costs, no matter what's going on. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's true. You want to make sure that whatever you do, nothing that you stand on is withered, regardless of what's being thrown your way, because you are the controller of your thoughts. You are the controller of what it is that you regurgitate. You are the controller. You are the one to manage how you operate, regardless of anybody's perception of you or anybody's mistreatment of you. Whatever the case may be, you are in control of you. So many of the times, if you're not taking time out to put yourself in the shop, if you're not taking time out to work on you, if you're not going ghost mode to figure you out, despite whatever's, trust me, anytime you go through anything, anytime you're being mistreated, anytime you're dealing with anything that you may not deserve, at the end of the day, there is still a takeaway for you to do something about you. There's still something for you to do something about you in terms of something that can elevate your growth and elevate your character in life and elevate you even while going through the storm. Even when they're calling you by every name in the book, an exception of your own name, there's still something that you can do. Because again, how you respond to every circumstance is ultimately what matters, bro. That is what ultimately matters. But if you find yourself just in situations that are sticky, if you find yourself in situations where it seems like things are just going wrong left and right, the people around me, when I go to work, this, that, and the third, sometimes, yes, those things may be happening, but sometimes it's more emphasized because there are things that's not happening with you. You know, you can't control the storm, bro. You can't control the weather. It's going to rain, sleet, the sun's going to come out. Like, you can't control how the weather and the forecast can be. But the point that I'm trying to make is, no matter which day arrives, no matter if it's a rainy day, you should find a way to remain bright, just as if the sun was out. You should find a way to remain bright internally, just as if the sun was out. You know, dress for the weather, prepare for the weather, you know, but at the same time, don't let nothing stop you from being that bright person within. Don't let nothing stop you from projecting positivity. Don't let nothing stop you from being on your purpose, being on your mission. Don't let nothing prevent you or prohibit you from going forward every single day. Don't let nothing get in that way, bruh. Don't let nothing get in your way, bruh. So reality is, man, sometimes, we hit funks. Sometimes we hit plateaus. Sometimes we get stuck between a rock and a hard spot. But my brother, that's when it's time for you to go ghost. That's when it may be time for you to sit yourself down. Go in monk mode. Go ghost. Go to war with yourself and don't come back out until you win, bro. I've given this example a few times here on my channel, so those who have heard it, bear with me. Keep in mind we get new subscribers, new people who watch the channel every single day. And plus, this one is something that resonates with me, especially when it comes to this topic. But for example, when I was younger, I was very outgoing. When I was in my teen/early 20s, I was very, very outgoing. I was always out. Now, in some aspects of it, I didn't really have much of a choice in that. And that's a story and a topic that I'll talk about in a future video. This isn't about that. But also, many of those decisions was me making the decisions to, go the extra mile, such as going to parties and stuff like that. So I was always outgoing. I was always outside, even when I had somewhere to sleep. I was still always outside. I was outside all the time, going to the clubs, hanging out on the block, hanging out with friends. Like, I just stayed outside. I'm the complete opposite now. But, obviously I'm older. But anyway, I was always outside, right? And then one day, I was going through some things, right? I was going through some stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going outside today. I'm not going outside. I think it's best that I just stay in the crib and just try to deal with whatever it is that I'm going through, within myself. So I stayed home. And this is when my relationship with God started to kind of form, because I would just talk to God when I didn't have anybody else to talk to. Fun fact, if you don't have a relationship with God, I'm not preaching or giving a sermon, but I'm just saying, for me personally, depending on what your faith is, or whoever it is that you pray to, whoever it is that you look up to, build that relationship. Because I'm telling you, the same person that was praying then, in which it helped me get to where I'm at today, I'm the same individual who get in my closet and pray, because prayer does work. But I was praying, and I was praying to God, and God was revealing so many things to me. And he pretty much was like, you gotta slow down so that I can teach you. You gotta slow down so that you can lend your ear. Lend your ear so that you can hear the words that I'm actually giving you, so that I can direct your path, so that you can know how to move now as you continue to progress in life, as you continue to move forward in life. But it's going to have to be different. But you're going to have to sit yourself down, and you're going to have to hear my words, and you're going to have to take heed. Had I not set myself down and started forming this relationship with God and started building this connection with God, and had I not set myself down and started listening to God and, getting in my Bible and reading the word, then I would likely be that same person who would be pretty much traveling this world, bro, with no motion. Traveling this world not knowing what my purpose is, my destiny is, just continuing to do things the same way that I've been doing it without really knowing who I am. It wasn't until I set myself down, that is when I realized that I needed to not only get right with God, but I needed to find out who I was. I needed to find out my purpose, God's purpose for my life. I needed to start from scratch, bro, because everything that I've been scripting to was pretty much nothing, no substance included, bro. Everything that I was doing was not helping me grow. Going to the clubs was not helping me grow. Sure, I was having a good time. Sure, I was. If you go to the clubs, it's not really benefiting you. Sure, it's temporary satisfaction. But at the same time, when you go home, at the same time as you go about your day-to-day life, how is it really bettering you? How is going to the clubs bettering you? How is just hanging out on the block bettering you? So if it's not pouring into you, sometimes you just got to really, really sit yourself down and figure out what adjustments need to be made so that I can continue this journey and benefit from it and make gains in life and grow in life. and develop in life, bro. So once I set myself down, I started this journey, bro. I started with nothing. I had no idea of what I wanted. I had no idea of who I was. I had no idea of where I was going. I just started by subtracting. I was like, let me start with what I know I can do. So I set myself down, looked that man in the mirror, doing that work. I had to face that person, face that pain, face those hard thoughts of me not knowing who I am. But I had to go to war with myself. I had to go to war with myself. I had to choose war against myself, my pleasures, my desires, and I had to learn how to replace those with substance. I had to learn how to replace those things that was not necessary for me, those things that was not contributing to my healing, those things that was not contributing to my healing journey, those things that was not contributing to my growth altogether. I had to learn how to change my habits and replace them with better habits. So I had to go to war with myself by training myself how to sit down, by training myself how to go ghost, by training myself how to develop new practices. I had to go to war with myself. And I said, I ain't coming back outside until I'm a more improved version of myself. So it's important. So I learned this lesson many, many years ago. And I realized, this is the direction I'm going to take. I'm going to, continue to be a God-fearing individual. And I thank God for keeping me safe, throughout my journey. I thank God for giving me direction, for sitting me down. But sometimes, man, even as you grow and improve, you still got to find yourself like still taking your internal vehicle in the shop occasionally. Sometimes you just got to, even myself, I take breaks from YouTube if I feel like I'm out of whack, and I'll just hit that reset button if necessary. I'll hit that reset button and I'm doing work behind the scenes, and I'll turn the camera back on and I'll appear and, get back on here when I feel like I'm winning again, when I feel like I'm back, And I'll do this as often as necessary, and I encourage anybody else, to do whatever you need to do as often as necessary, bro. Whatever it is that's going to put you back in the driver's seat, the dream driver's seat, that's allowing you to win again. So you have to sometimes, man, go ghost, bro. Go ghost from anybody, even your loved ones. It's not negative, Some people you may have to cut off. Some people you may just say, I need a break. I need to get with God, bro. And the real ones in your life is going to give you that. They're going to give you that respect, and they're going to give you that grace and understanding, because they know you're doing this to better yourself. But sometimes you have to go in monk mode, bro, go in ghost mode to find yourself, to get back on track, to get back aligned with who you are, the true person that you are, so that you can come back refreshed, recharged, revived, and get on that path to greatness, man, and rise even better, even stronger, even taller than you was before you broke down, or whatever the case may be. Again, sometimes you have to disappear. You have to go ghost. And then you have to go to war with yourself, bro. You have to go to war with yourself and don't come out until you are victorious, until you are winning again. Until you're aligned once again. Until you know that you can get back on that tread, bro, of life and really, really keep pushing this time. So, for instance, I take breaks from time when it comes to the gym. Sometimes I take breaks when it comes to working out, and no excuses. I just do. You feel me? As much as I've been training throughout, the duration of the last few years, I've been training for a while. For the most part, let's just say I train more than I don't train. But when I take breaks, I'll take a break, for instance, like 2 months. I think the last one I did, I took like 3 months. That was the worst one. Like, I would not do that again, bro. Not that long of a break. But I took a break from the gym. And with me, if I take a break from the gym, it's like I take a break from the diet. I take a break from, just being disciplined, man. It's like, that's the worst thing that I can do. Shout out to my wife for being the complete opposite. She could take a break from the gym, but, she'll tighten up on her diet. So help me God, man. I'm going to get there one day. But let's just not plan for breaks. But she a beast at that, bro. She'll tighten up on her diet, and she'll, even if she take breaks from the gym, she'll still, make sure she's eating healthy. So, it's good to have people like that in your life. Me personally, I don't have that type of discipline. If I take a break from the gym, I'm like, why diet? I'm already not making gains. Bad mentality, D. But it's just the reality. I'll take breaks, right? But then At some point, as the laziness sets in, as I start to see myself, losing my gains, I'm like, what went wrong? You know what I'm saying? I'll ask myself, what went wrong? Like, why did we just up and stop? And I don't know why I hit these plateaus at times where I just be like I'll be on it. I'll be going to the gym and then bam, one day I'll be like, I'm not going today. And the next thing you know, that one day would turn into like a few weeks, which will turn into a month or even two. And in the latest regards, it was 3 months, a whole quarter. That's crazy. But what happened was, I set myself down and I addressed it internally. I set myself down and I went to war with myself and was like, what's going on with you, D? What's going on? Why the break was good? Why the lack of motivation? What's going on? And so I addressed that person in the mirror. I addressed myself. And I said, I'm not going to stop going to war with myself until I figure out how to get myself back doing the necessary habits that were healthy. I'm not going to stop going to war with myself. I'm not going to pick the camera up. I'm not going to do nothing until I figure me out. So I was going to war with myself until I figured out it's time to get back to doing this, bro. It's time to get back to healthy activities. It's time to get back to lifting weights. It's time to get back to eating healthy, And so quiet as kept, I ain't talked to y'all about it. If you in my personal life, you would know. But I ain't come on here and talk to y'all about it until now. And I told myself I probably won't talk about it until I've been, practicing the healthy thing and the healthy habit for a good while. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll talk to you guys about it. So ain't no shame. I'm just keeping it real, which is what I've been doing. Took 3 months off and then got back on it and trained 3 months straight. And now we're talking about it, and it's like I never even lost a step. You feel me? But that's what I did, man. I said, I'm not going to talk about the training. I'm not going to come on here. I'm not even going to pick the camera up until I get in alignment with myself and I go to war with myself. That's exactly what I did. I took the necessary break. I went ghost mode. I went ghost mode and I started doing the work. One push-up at a time. Y'all didn't see it. Getting up at 5 in the morning. Y'all ain't see it. Because it wasn't meant for y'all. It was meant for me to do the work during that time, bro. It was meant for me to isolate myself and do the work alone, separately, and then not talk about it and not come here on camera and talk about it until I'm winning again. So right now, I'm winning again. When it comes to being on top of my workouts and being disciplined, I'm winning again. It wasn't meant for me to talk. It was meant for me to work. It wasn't meant for me to talk. It was meant for me to work. It was meant for me to go to war with myself and do the work every single day. That's what it was meant for me to do. And that's one important variable and reason why it's important for you to pull yourself away from some normal circumstances, because sometimes you just have to pull yourself out, look yourself in the mirror, ask yourself what changes and adjustments need to be made so that I can get myself back on track and grow wiser and stronger, and get myself back doing the things that I love and what I know I need to be doing, being on my mission and my purpose, bro, on this dream driver's path. Sometimes it's just meant for you to just sit with God, bro. Sometimes it's meant for you to just isolate yourself and don't get up and don't leave till you come up with answers, bro. Keep working, just keep working on yourself. But yeah, it's very necessary. And I realize I've grown to a point where when I see things are out of whack personally, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what pulls me out of it. I know that facing whatever it is that I'm going through, whatever it is that I'm harboring, facing it, looking at it dead in the eyes, taking it on, taking that challenge head on, bro, and going to war with myself until I come out victorious. Not the thing that kept me suppressed, not the thing that kept me down, not the thing that was holding me back. I'm fighting against that. When I say go to war with yourself, that's what I'm talking about. Going against what it is that's holding you back, what it is that's suppressing you, what it is that's harbored up within you. You going to war with that so that you could come out victorious, so that you can come out with your hand raised, knowing I got the victory. But it won't happen if you don't address it. And sometimes when you address it, you have to address it alone. Sometimes when you address it, you have to, no matter what a person say to you, you know how many people will be like, you know how many people could say, you need to go to the gym, right? It ain't gonna pierce or hit home till you say to yourself, you know what, I need to go to the gym. Or whatever it is, no matter what a person says to you, a person could say all day long, bro, you should go back to college or whatever. You should go to school. A person can encourage you to go to college, take up a trade or whatever. A person can encourage you, but you know what? It's not until you feel that you need to take up this college course, or it's not until you feel like you need to be in this position in life. It's not until you see fit within yourself that you need to apply certain changes within your life to better yourself. A person could take you to the water, but they can't make you drink. You have to be thirsty enough to take yourself to the water. Be thirsty enough to take action and sip on the water, bro. It's got to be something that's important to you. Why do you think months go by before doing something about it? In some cases, why do you think years go by before doing something about it? It's because you got to stop. You got to stop and do the necessary work in order for you to keep growing, in order for you to make the changes and develop new habits. Do something for 21 days straight. It's a new habit. Stay in monk mode for 21 days straight. Develop that habit. Stay in ghost mode for 21 days straight. Develop that habit. Turn the TV off for 21 days straight. Develop that habit. You know what I mean? Go to the gym for 21 days straight. Develop that habit. Eat healthy for 21 days straight. Develop that habit. What you're doing is you're removing the distractions. That's why, again, I don't turn on the camera until I know all distractions are removed. Let me work on me. Let me develop these inner disciplines. That's what being in monk mode is for. That's what it's about. That's what being in ghost mode is for. That's what it's about. It's for you to hit that reset button. It's for you to figure you out. It's for you to go to war with yourself so that you could come out victorious. But anyway, y'all, I have more videos to record today. On top of that, I still have to train. It's kind of late in the day, and I'm going to make it happen. But hopefully you guys appreciated this video. If so, subscribe to the channel. We have been growing. We've been growing slow, but you know what? I appreciate slow growth. I appreciate anybody that watches my videos, man, and appreciate them. And if so, feel free to share the videos, but ultimately subscribe to the channel and support the movement. It's a positive vibe community, and I can't do it without you guys. And I appreciate all my day ones, my in-betweens, and my as of nows, and my future supporters. I appreciate you guys for contributing to developing this love muscle. And yeah, man, I can't do it without y'all. As always, do what brings life to you. Please don't let those words go over your head. Do what brings life to you. And it's a great chance that you'll bring life to whatever it is that you do. You already know, rain, sleet, or snow, the goal is to #grow. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace and blessings. One love. Strength.